Hello fellow brawlers, I'm KairosTime, and it is time to brawl. It's also time for my 100% honest review of the most recent update. And as always, I'm gonna be 100% honest with my thoughts. I have a lot of things to talk about specifically when it comes to the map maker, so I'm going to save that for last, like a lot of things specifically regarding what I would like to see in the future for the map maker. So let's start off by talking about Amber, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to be rating this update on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, just like I always do. Amber is so much fun to play. I have not had this much fun playing a new brawler for a long time. Now, let me definitely add the disclaimer that at the time that I'm recording this video, I've only pushed her about 400 trophies, and I haven't even had the chance to play her with the star power yet. The gameplay that you're seeing right now is as I'm climbing from 400 to 500 trophies. Now, as always, I typically like to get a good feel for a brawler, at least before I reach 500 trophies without their gadget or their star power. This morning, I unlocked her gadget at around like 300 trophies, played her a little bit more. But as you're watching this, I don't have her star power, and Amber is still a lot of fun to play. I've had an opportunity to play her in almost all of them, actually all of the modes, and she's pretty much great everywhere other than like bounty. I think Amber is a little too strong, so I think that you can definitely play her in bounty if you really want to, but there are much easier places to push her, and there are also much easier brawlers to push in bounty, so I wouldn't really recommend playing her in that mode. But everywhere else, she is a lot of fun, especially in Showdown, because she can ramp up so easily, especially when there are multiple boxes close to each other. And as long as she has her super charged up, she can even deal with like throwers, which makes her really versatile in a lot of situations. And if you have her star power, I imagine it's even easier for her to deal with those situations, because you just plop down her gadget and then you start charging up her super, and then you're ready. You're ready to deal with anything that comes your way. Now, I will say that her gadget does not feel super great, at least not as good as I thought it was going to be without her star power. But I think with her star power, it's going to make her charging her super like wherever you want to, just so easily. And unlike Bo's super totem gadget that can be killed by enemy players, the only way to get rid of Amber's charging location is if she chooses to light it on fire herself. So she can just put a spot on her side of the map that she has no intention of ever lighting on fire to always be able to go there and charge up her super. So strong. I haven't even had it, and I can already tell you that that is so strong, right? So her gadget and her star power synergize very well together. I do think that Amber is too strong. It's sad to me because I love playing her so much right now as she is, but I think that she is going to be getting a nerf sometime in the next update. Maybe even a couple of weeks. I don't know. My guess is it will happen sometime in November before the November update, which we have to have a November update. And the reason why is because of the Brawl Pass ending in November. So something is coming, but yeah, anyway. Now all of my thoughts regarding Amber and me saying that I think that she's a little bit too strong, that's coming from somebody that's only played her for a couple of hours and not even in the competitive meta. So definitely take that with a grain of salt. Normally, I have a really good idea of how I would balance a brawler, but with Amber, I'm not entirely certain how I would balance her. Maybe I would decrease the amount of like ammo that she has. Maybe I would nerf her damage output. Maybe I would decrease her gadget usage to 2 times per match. But the fact that I'm not really sure of how I would nerf her specifically is actually a good sign that her mechanics work very well, and she just needs some tweaks to like basic mechanics, like maybe how much health she has or how much damage she does. But what's most important to me is that she is a lot of fun to play. And that's what I'm really excited about her, is the newest brawler coming to Brawl Stars. Like, she's super fun. I love her character design. I think it's kind of funny that she's supposed to be like a novice fire breather who isn't exactly sure of herself, because typically you don't become a fire breather unless you are fearless and you are confident, right? Like, who deals with fire that closely unless you're a confident, fearless person? So it kind of makes me wonder like what her story is. Why is she the way that she is? Really kind of fun, kind of a unique take on a fire breather. I like that. I think that Amber is a great addition to Brawl Stars. I think the team did a great job forming her. I love Paul. He's the one that comes up with these new brawler characters, designs, and things like that. And he's oh man, his mind, it's awesome. So anyway, really excited about that. Okay, now I wanted to quickly talk about a few other things that are coming this update, and then I'm gonna get to the map maker section. Let's quickly review the skins. Underworld Bo is my favorite skin this update. Why does Bo have all the best skins? Like, do people really love playing Bo? I don't know what it is about Bo, but he has some awesome skins. I like that, right? And this skin is no exception. It's so cool. I am a huge fan of it. My second favorite skin is Challenger Colt. I think it is a great deal for only $5 or the equivalent of 80 gems, though I do understand why some people are a little disappointed that you won't be able to buy him straight up with free gems. At the same time, the proceeds for the skin are directly going towards the 2020 World Championship, so I understand why Supercell's doing it that way. Next is Zombibi, which is, I think, a really cool skin. It's not my favorite skin, but I think that I like it more than Heroine BB, which is kind of tough to say because I like Heroine BB. Her hair, I don't know what it is about her hair. I've said this in so many videos. I don't like her hair, but this skin does look really, really cool. I definitely think it is worth 80 gems, so that's really cool. But then we have the Brillouin Rosa skin, and although this one isn't my favorite, I think it is really awesome. Rosa is finally getting some love. She's getting her first skin, and every other brawler in the game, other than the newest brawler, Amber, now has a skin. And I think I'm okay with that, right? Brawl Stars comes with that brand new skin. I don't think they need to be released with new skins. It's cool when it happens, but it's awesome. I'm really excited for the Brillouin challenge that is going to be coming to unlock Brillouin Rosa. I think it is super fun to have challenges like that once a month. I am really interested to see if people will be able to pay gems to try and enter into the contest more than one time. See, the thing is with previous like 12 win challenges, it's been before for the competitive meta. This time it's not a competition. Like it's not actually going to affect the esports scene if you can have multiple tries by spending gems. The only thing is that if you're playing with randoms, even if you're really good, you just like happen to have 4 really unfortunate matches, and if you do that and there's no way for you to re-enter in for the challenge, those pins that are available are never going to be unlockable in the future. And I think that would be pretty sad if you tried your hardest in one shot and you didn't get the opportunity to do it. And I think it would make sense, right? Like that's kind of how like Supercell with Clash Royale does a lot of their challenges. Like you have the opportunity to enter in multiple times, and I would love to see that for this challenge in Brawl Stars. I'm curious if you guys disagree with that, but I have a hard time imagining that you guys would disagree simply because it's not for a competitive reason. It's just for the skin. So let me know in the comments below. Lastly, we have the 5 new brawlers getting their true silver and true gold skins. I think it's pretty cool, and it's very clear that eventually every brawler in the game is going to have a true gold and true silver skin, which I think is pretty awesome. I don't even have anywhere near enough gold for all of them. Obviously, the percentage of people that have enough gold for all of them is going to be incredibly small, but anyway, I think it's a cool feature, right? I think the balance changes that happen in this update are really solid, but I'm most excited for the changes to Siege. I like the Brawl Ball one, but I actually rarely see people self-scoring at my trophy level, so that's not really as big of a deal for me. But the Siege bolt spawns are now much more fair, and they're predictable, so you can always plan ahead, and I've had a lot of fun playing Siege after the update because of that. I'm also really glad that they made it so the matchmaking is more fair for people who are playing with their friends. I understand the sentiment, I agree with it. I think that people that are playing in pre-made comps should be more likely to face other people who are playing pre-made comps, but I don't think that if they are playing randoms that the trophy count should be higher on average, right? I've said it for a very long time, but a big issue that Supercell needs to address for Brawl Stars is creating more social features that keep the game in coming back to it just for the social features and to be able to interact with other people. I think that that's something that the game really needs. This isn't a big fix to that, but it's something that will help and is going to help people become more involved with others, which I think is a really positive thing. Also, I think the map making and sharing with friends like that is a really awesome thing to help toward that. So, but more on that later. I love the new pin system. I think it is really close to perfect. I think that we do need an option to be able to switch the default happy, sad, and angry brawler pins back to their respective normal player pins that are normally there under the brawler pin selection, because right now there's no way to reselect a base happy, sad, or angry pin if you accidentally select like a happy brawler pin that looks identical to their base pin for that brawler, right? Like Nani comes to my mind specifically for that. And so with that said, it's a really close to perfect system, the new pin system, and I love that we can now customize the slots however they are, and I love that we can now have player pins to switch that are going to be the same for our entire account. I love that. That's way awesome. And I'm still not sure exactly how I'm going to customize all of my brawlers, but I don't know. I'm excited for it. And also, now that there are free pin packs in the Brawl Pass, that means the pins are more accessible to players, which I think adds a lot of personality to the game. So really big props to Supercell for listening to our feedback on that. Okay, now it is time for me to talk about the map maker. I gotta be honest, I did not expect something as big as the map maker to be coming into Brawl Stars for this update. I thought this update was going to be smaller, and I thought that the next update was going to be when Supercell added something into it that was really, really big and kind of game-changing. Obviously, I'm thrilled that it is in the game. I just didn't expect it, right? And also, I'm happy that they added it in with it not being completely finished, right? They're like, this is a beta feature. We're putting in there. We want to see how you guys use it before we fully flesh out all the other ideas. And I like that. I think that's really cool. It's very obvious that there are a lot of features missing from it. So technically it was only half a feature for the most recent update. So I was kind of like halfway right. But now the only thing that you can really do right now with the map maker is make a map and test it with friends. You can't share it with a code. There's no way for you to publish it for it to be able to be shared in game or anything like that. It's very simple, but it lays the foundation for the future of Brawl Stars. And I don't just mean that like, oh yeah, this is gonna change the game. No, like, I really mean that in a very big way. I think this is going to shape the future of Brawl Stars, and it's going to make the game a lot better, and people are going to play it for many years to come because of this feature alone. Not as it is right now, but because of what this feature is going to be in the future. So I want to talk about some of the features that I hope are coming in the map maker in the near future, hopefully. I mean, it's going to, some of them are going to take time, but I just want it all right now, Supercell. Let's start with the basics, then I'm going to talk about the big picture ideas that I think are going to really make Brawl Stars one of the most popular games for a long time. Obviously, I want to be able to mess around with special tiles, jump pads, mine carts, teleporters, right? I want them. But even the TNT boxes that are used in the game way back when the game was in beta, and also when you're first introduced into the game, you first see Shelly takes out a bunch of TNT boxes to blow out that boss. They're in the game. They're in the game. And it's the first thing you see. And I want them back in the game now that we're done with tutorial for months and years, right? The idea with TNT is that after you deal a certain amount of damage to them, then they would explode along with any other TNT boxes directly next to them. But there are other special tiles that I really want Supercell to add into the game. Heal spawners that drop an item after a certain amount of time, right? Basically, a brawler goes and picks it up and they instantly heal up 2,000 health, maybe even more, maybe 5,000, maybe it fully heals you up. You get the idea. Additional buffs could also be like special tiles where you go and you pick up a special item that's like maybe a temporary shielding or temporary speed or increased damage. Other possible buffs could be instant supercharge items. So you pick it up and you got your super, or maybe even items that will give your gadget an additional use. They could also add special tiles that have various effects that if you like attack them. For example, one idea that I had is a healing tower, which they could just put healing towers in there. It's like you have a healing tower, you go stand by there and it heals you. Like, that's a cool idea. But another idea is a healing tower that you attack, much like Pam's super, but it will only activate if you attack it. And the more damage that you deal to it, the longer it will heal in an area around it. So you kind of have to like use your ammo to heal you and your team up, but maybe it also affects the enemy team, or maybe it will only heal the team that dealt damage to him. I don't know, just like some ideas, right? Another idea is a non-brawler supercharger. Currently, the only way for you to charge up your super is for you to attack a brawler. This item would be like a tower that you could attack and it would charge your super, but it would be a neutral thing in the match so that both teams could attack and charge their super. After its health depletes, it goes away for a little bit of time and then you have to wait some time for it to respawn for you to be able to charge up your super. Some more ideas would be trap tiles. They could add toxic sludge, kind of like the water, except that you can actually walk over it, but you would be poisoned and take damage over time whenever you're in it. Something similar could be honey, where you can walk over it, but you would be slowed while you are walking through it. They could also add hidden bomb mines like Bo's mines so that when you walk over them, they either deal damage to you, knock you back, maybe even stun you for a short period of time. There are so many types of special tiles that Supercell could add into the game. And now that we have a map maker, there's finally a reason for them to add some of these things that aren't like fair or things that you wouldn't typically want on like a competitive match, but these features would still be used in friendly rooms where people could just like mess around and have their own mini games and things like that. But that actually brings me to the next point that I want to talk about for this map making feature, which is very clearly lacking right now. I want there to be some sort of a way for you to submit a completed map so that others will be able to play them and rate them. The idea would be where some sort of feature where players could search for player made maps, and if enough people liked a certain map, then it would then be added into an event slot for player made make maps where people would actually play competitively against other players. After playing that map in that like test run competitive area or whatever, people could give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and if people enjoyed the map enough, Supercell could actually put those maps into the actual rotation so that everybody gets to play it, right? I mean, that way competitive maps in the game are going to always be adapting, they're always going to be changing, and we would constantly be playing the best maps. That sounds like an awesome feature, but I would also hope that not all published maps would have to be serious maps considered for competitive matches. I would also want the ability to play custom maps with custom rules that were meant for like mini games or just for fun. Imagine if you could adjust player movement speeds to be 3 times as fast so that everyone was like running around like super crazy, right? It'd be super fun. What if it went the opposite so that everyone was super slow and you had to rely on spring traps or teleporters to get around? What if you could adjust the reload speed to be anywhere from half as fast so that every single shot matters to 3 times as fast so literally you're never running out of ammo and you could just fire off whenever you want to? What if you could play a match where supers weren't allowed, or where the supercharge automatically for everyone, kind of like Daryl, but a lot faster, so the terrors are throwing supers all over the place, right? What if you could put multiple balls or goals in Brawl Ball, or added multiple gem mines in Gem Grab? What if you could make it so that you could grab only 5 gems for it to be a win, or if it required 20 gems, but the gems respawned twice as fast? What if the Ike turret did way less damage, but it had way more health, and rather than spawning bolts, the goal was to just try and fight the enemy team under fire with a couple of Ike turrets like near the center, right? What if everybody spawned with 1 HP so that they get killed with a single hit? Or what if you could make it so that brawlers would have unlimited supers, but they would also have 5 times their normal health? What if brawlers started healing much faster, but you could also make it so the brawlers didn't heal at all, but they had to rely on like health towers to regain health and stuff like that? There are so many ideas, and we have barely even scratched the surface that all these things are possible. And when I talk about the map maker changing Brawl Stars forever, this is what I have in mind. This update, we got just a taste of what is possible with the map maker, and it is very clear that this is just the beginning. If Supercell does this right, I could see players being so dedicated to the game that they're like not even playing competitive matches at all, but they're spending all their time creating custom modes and playing custom modes with their friends and trying to get their custom mode at the top of the leaderboards, because maybe there'd be some sort of leaderboard system so you could find like the best rated maps or something like that. Like, there's so much that could be done, and I don't know about you guys, but I kind of want the next 2 to 3 updates to have a lot of improvements specifically to the map maker and to add a lot of stuff, because in the long run, I think it's going to be something that greatly improves the longevity of the game. Overall, I'm very happy with this update. The map maker is very clearly missing a lot of features that we would all love, but they didn't release it with the expectation of it being a finished feature of the game. And I wasn't even expecting any major features being added to the game with this update. So I'm very happy, right? Normally, whenever I do one of these videos, I do have some negative things to say about the update, but this time it's really good. I like the skins that were put into the game. I love the new brawler, and I've had a lot of fun playing her. I was hoping for some improvements to power play, but I didn't actually think that we'd be getting any of this update anyway. But how would I rate this on a scale from 1 being the worst update to 10 being the best update in Brawl Stars history? I think this is kind of tough to say. There is a big part of me that wants to say that this was the best update ever. And if the map maker was more complete, I could definitely give this a 10 out of 10 update. With that said, I'm not complaining, because I'd rather have the map maker right now as it is before it's finished than have to wait longer for a more polished version. So I'm gonna give this update a very, very solid 9.5. We can do halves, right? I think that's allowed. I mean, I made the scale, so, well, I didn't make the 1 to 10 scale, but I made this scale. You guys know what I'm talking about. But I want to know what you guys thought about this update. Are you as excited about the map maker as I am? Or maybe you're not really into maps, and since Amber's a legendary brawler, there wasn't really much for you to experience in this update. Let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys subscribe for more quality Brawl Stars content like this. Use code Kairos in the Brawl Stars shop. And for now, guys, this is KairosTime ticking by, and we will see you in Brawl Stars.